Hello there, welcome to We Are Crafted in His Image. I am here today with another Technique Tuesday, and we're going through alphabetically, and we are only on the letter B. And our B today is for a box card. And you just see I have a card here that folds flat, but then when you get it, you open it up and it looks like a box full of goodies. Isn't that cool? Of course, if I had a box full of goodies, what would I want? I would want craft supplies. And this box is full of lots of different craft supplies. So I'm going to show you how to make this. It's actually pretty simple to do. I love the fact that it folds up flat and you can put it in an envelope, but then you can display it on your desk. You can set it up and display and have all these cool goodies on your desk. So let's get started. I have done most of the stamping and die cutting ahead of time. I just wanted to show you how to make the actual card itself. Let me get my paper trimmer really quickly. I just dumped my ruler on the ground. Oh, there we go. So here I have my paper trimmer. I think, let me see if I can zoom this out anymore. I'm not sure if it will zoom out more. Oh, I guess it will a little bit. Actually, I'm going to leave it here and I will just bring this down. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. So this is my template, and I will have the measurements for this on the blog. So if you are watching this from YouTube, just check out the description box and it'll give you a link to the post with all of these measurements. But I have here a piece of cardstock that is, let me see, 11, let's see, 4 1/4 by 11. So it is a half sheet of cardstock. So you can, excuse me, you can get 2 of these out of 1 piece of cardstock. And then you're going to need to do some cutting and some scoring. Now I'm going to start with my scoring. And the first thing I'm going to do is actually score. This is a very important part. You want to score this direction first before you do the long one. So I'm going to go at 2 inches. Make sure you guys can see. Let me pull out my arm because I will need that out. So we need 2 inches scored. And you can score these all the way up and down. And then we need 5 1/4 inches. Then 7 1/4 inches. And last one is 10 1/2 inches. Bring it all the way over here to the 10 1/2 mark. Okay. Then I'm going to take a pencil. I need to gently mark this line here just to make it easier for me to see. I had a hard time seeing it before when I was doing this one. Now what I want to do is I want to score along here, but I only want to go up to this score line. I don't want to go all the way across with it. So, and that is going to be at 2 inches. So, not 2 inches from this side, but 2 inches from this side. I'm going to go here. And like I said, I only want to score, that's why I drew that pencil mark to make it a little bit easier for me to see the score line. And come back down. There we go. Now let's find an eraser. Get rid of our pencil mark. We don't want that anymore. There we go. Now I do need to mark the 2-inch mark on this little tab. So to do that, I'm just going to go ahead and, there we go, just to help me know where that's at. And now we have some cutting to do, and I am going to use paper snips to do it rather than, oh actually, one of them I am going to cut this way. Let's see, 1 inch. Now, let's see. Turn it around. Turn it around. Make sure I was in the right spot. On this panels right here, we want to cut across 1 inch all the way up to that line again. So I'm going to now put it on the 1 inch mark here. And this time, instead of scoring, I want to cut. So actually it would be easier to turn it around this way. So I'm going to go from, now my 1 inch is on that side, and I'm going to come down to this score line. There we go. Okay, now I can do the rest of my cutting with paper snips. So here I want to cut all the way down to that score line, along this score line, and I want to go straight. We're not doing, well, we will do some angled cuts. Here's your only angle cut. Right here where I marked this, we want to angle it, and then we want to angle this. Okay, the rest of them are all going to go straight along those score lines. So go down. There we go. Go down straight on that score line and straight on that score line. So that's all the cuts that we need to make. Very simple and easy. And then before I do any of the other assembly, I want to go ahead, actually I can do that in a minute. I want to go ahead and get these ones ready. Oh, that's the pieces I just cut off. Where's my strips? Here we go. Now these pieces here, there are 2 of them, and they are cut at 2 1/4 by 4 1/4, and then they've been scored at 1/2 inch and 3 3/4 inches, or 1/2 inch in on either end. And these don't have to be this wide. They can be skinnier strips, but I liked them bigger, so they actually went from top to bottom. Then, let me see, what was my next step I need to do? Oh, actually, I do want to put that other piece on there. So if you notice on my box here, I have this cute little Stampin' Up! Right here. This actually came from, can you guess? Right there. I cut it out of a scrap. Well, it wasn't a scrap, but it was one of my already used pieces of my grid paper. So there are actually 2 of them, one on either side. So I have already cut out one. Here's all of my, ooh, I better get this over here because there's a bunch of stuff in here. Alright, where is it at? I had cut one out already. Oh no, I've lost it. Wow, I guess I will have to cut out another one. That's easy enough to do. I have a stash of these over here. There we go. So again, this is just a used one of my grids, and I'm just going to cut off the word, the little Stampin' Up! Logo. Because of course this is a box full of Stampin' Up! Goodies, right? There we go. Cut that top part off. And I'm going to go ahead and glue that to what would be the front panel of my box, per se. Come on. There we go. Stick that there. Actually, I'm going to go down a little bit so that you can see it better when the flap is down. Ta-da! Okay, so now this is the part. We're going to flip this over. Actually, I put that on the wrong side. Well, it could go on this side. It doesn't really matter, but I'm kind of in my brain am doing it. This is the inside. So this would be the outside. Let me put a little bit more adhesive on that side. There we go. Ta-da! Okay. So on the inside here, we have these 2 panels. They're going to be folded in opposite directions. Kind of like that. So you've got a little V shape going on there. And I have to keep laying this down to figure out how I did it. That. Ta-da! There we go, there we go, there we go. That's how I did it. Okay. This one. Am I doing that right? Okay. So these need to go so that this side here, the flap is coming up, and this side, the flap is going down. Okay. But I need to flip them over really quick and put some adhesive on them. There we go. One, and I saw that snap. I knew it went back inside there. There. Now, this one here, you want to put, remember this side is facing up, so you want this edge lined up with this score line right here. And then this edge, where I have my sticky, is going to line up with this score line right here. So now you have these two panels, you see where they're stuck, but the best way to line them up, like I said, is line this one up with this score line, and then line this one up at this score line. And now I need to put some adhesive on these two flaps right here. And then I'm also going to want some adhesive on this flap as well. And you know, this one I'm actually going to use tear and tape, just because I want to make sure, oh, where did my tear and tape go? Oh, there it is. It's behind my dimensionals. I want to make sure that my box doesn't come apart. So, and as I've mentioned before, when you're putting together a box, you want to make sure your adhesive is right up next to that fold line so that it doesn't come apart. You see right here where I've actually had to pull it apart to redo this one a couple of times, and my adhesive is not sticking as well anymore. I need to put some more in there. But yeah, you want to make sure that you've got it right next to that crease so that it stays together. So now, the easy way to put this together is take this, fold it over so that those stick to that flap, and then bring this up and tuck in here and lay it down. And there we go. There's your main box. Okay, fold your flaps down, and then then we have a little panel that we're going to stamp on. And where did my stamp set go? There it is. Life is better when you are crafting. Of course. Let's get a block. And Pretty Peacock is my color of choice for this project. There we go. And I'm going to stamp it pretty much up at the top and off to the, oh yeah, just right at the top and centered. Alright. I'm kind of laughing. My dog, once again, is underneath my desk and she is snoring away. I don't know that you can hear it in there, but she is snoring. Alright, let me turn my box over here so I know what I'm doing. Okay, the next thing we want to do is go ahead and glue this to here. I want to make sure it's fully dry before I put some adhesive on the back of this. There we go. And that goes on here. Oops. It's easier to do if you have it folded flat. And while I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and glue. I have some of the little thread spools. Where'd they go? There are 4 of them all together. Let's see. Well, come here, come here, come here, come here. There you are, there you are. Alright. And I am going to use, you will need, I really recommend for this project that you get some fine tip glue. Because there are, I mean, there's some little tiny little things that you're going to be gluing things together, and it's just nice to have that control. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of glue right there. Let's see, I think I will start with the Petal Pink one, and then I will put the Misty Moonlight, no, Pretty Peacock here. And then the Cajun Craze one down here. There we go. All right. And then we're going to go ahead and glue these pieces. Now, it would have been, it was a 6 of one, half a dozen other, whether it was easier to glue once it's already put together or whether it was easier to do it separate. It's easier to do it separate, but then you can't quite tell exactly where it's going to be when it's folded up. So, see, like here, it kind of blocks a lot of our background, but, oh, I forgot to put my piece of paper in there. Let me put a little bit of glue on there. Slide my paper underneath the cutter. I'll let that set for a minute. Okay. So I am going to go ahead and just apply adhesive, I'm applying glue to the bottom portion of my little pieces. There we go. Hold it down. That might be easier. This one here, it's kind of hard to tell. This is some yarn, and to stamp this, I used, obviously, I had the stamp, but in order to stamp it, I used our markers. So I always start, if I'm using yellow, that is always the very first color that I do when I do this technique, because I want to make sure it doesn't pick up the other colors. But here I just took the yellow and I'm just coloring onto that little ball of yarn. And then I'm going to use Cajun Craze for this ball of yarn right here. And then I will use the Pretty Peacock for this larger one. So you get the idea. And then I even used Pebble Path for the 2 knitting needles. But I'm actually just going to go ahead and stamp this on here, just so you can see. But then you get a multicolored image rather than all of your yarn balls being the same color, which you could totally do, because if you're working on a project, you're going to have a lot of the same color yarn. But anyway, I've cut it out, and now I'm going to glue it inside my little basket. So let's put some adhesive on the back of the basket at the top there. Put my yarn in there. Let that set for a minute. Okay. And then this goes just inside here. Put a little bit more. There we go. Put that on there. Push that down. Same thing here. I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive, a little bit of glue in there. Set this on here. And now part of the reason you want to do it this way is, you can see the way it's folded, nothing is sticking out on this side. Now if you look at this one, as long as I fold it this way, everything's going to fold up nicely. If I were to put it this way, you can see this is going to end up not being able to go inside your envelope. So you don't want anything, this is the way it's going to be folded. You want to make sure everything stays within these 2 edges when you're gluing it into those little pieces there, okay? That way when you put your card in an envelope, it's going to, excuse me, it's going to be able to go into the envelope. And then let's see, we're going to go ahead and do our sewing machine. I was doing some sewing yesterday, and I got a little bit to do today. Working on some projects for my nieces and nephews. Let's see. Sewing machine goes in like this. I'll stick it in there, push that down. Let it set, get hold. Do the same thing here. Oh, I can turn that way. A little bit more in here. I also like that this has a longer tip, so it's easy to get inside here. Let that all set. Then what do we have left in here? We have our scissors. We have some paintbrushes, another thread spool, and I think I had the other thread spool on top of my sewing machine. I hope I'm angling this so you can see well enough where I'm putting the glue in there. There we go. Hold it down for a second. I'm going to go ahead and put my scissors on the outside. Then it looks like I just used the scissors to open up the box. So let's get some glue on there. And this again is why you want the fine tip glue pen. Try to get as little tiny, you don't want glue everywhere. There we go. And then the last thing is the ruler. I think I'm going to move my paintbrush. On my original one I had the paintbrush back here in the back. I think I might put this one in the front here. So this one's going to be a little different. Get that to hold. This one, instead of, oh, I did that too far over. There we go. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and cut off the handle on this one, just so that it can get a little closer. There we go. Okay. What happened there is I put it too close so that it was going onto that flap. Is this one going to be okay? Yeah, this one is just barely okay here. So for these two, I'm actually going to glue them here in the front rather than this one being back here. So I'll put the glue on the front of it, and let's see, I think maybe right there. And some glue on my ruler. I wasn't sure what color to do the ruler. I was thinking, you know, a wooden ruler is this color, but you could have done it, I could have done it yellow or white. There we go, that's a long ruler. And there we have our second finished card, ready to go. I did not stamp anything on the envelopes. I could have. We had a number of different stamps in there. Could have stamped any of these, either of those images, or even just "You Inspire Me" on there. But there you have our B is for Box card technique on how to make a stand-up box card full of goodies. I hope you enjoyed it, and until next time, God's love and blessings to you. Bye!